with stochastic and RSI, that was at the 3K mark, $3,000 mark for Bitcoin just in 2019, $3,000 just a year ago, now sitting at $60,000, $57,000, a 20x, everyone, 20x in just a few months, $1,000 here, $20,000 here, $1 million here, $20 million here. So big congratulations to anyone that bought that dip. Amazing gains. Stochastic still heading up, but RSI is literally off the charts. The last time it was off the charts was up here when it peaked in the bull run in 2017-18. It went to 96, the RSI, when the price of Bitcoin was sitting at 19,800. Now it went to 91 and started coming down. We're at 89 now when the price is sitting at 57,000. So it's a little bit overbought, but not as overbought as here, but very close. But why I'm still very bullish Bitcoin? This was the institution, this was retail investors in 2018. This is big volume. What is volume? If you were to sell me your Bitcoin, I'm to buy it from you. That's a trade. Trading is volume. The more trading, the more volume. That means the more people are interested, right? This is the bull run we've had from when I made that video at 9,000 all the way to 57,000. And look at the volume. Look at the difference in volume. And this is why I'm very bullish Bitcoin. And I really should recommend people pay attention. And I think this thing is just beginning. Why? That's the volume. That's the amount of people that are interested in it right now, Bitcoin. This is the amount of people that were interested in 2018 when we went to $19,000. This is how many people are interested in it right now, and we're sitting at $59,000. What is that telling me? This is monthly candlesticks, everyone. Each of these candlesticks is representing 1 month. We're looking back to 2015 here. What it's telling me is that big companies, big institutional buyers, billionaires, PayPal, the big companies are buying Bitcoin, not the mums and dads, not huge volume, not many trades, very few trades, but huge buys where they're shooting the price up because they're buying so much, they're buying huge quantities of it, but just a few trades, just a few people are buying huge quantities of it, just a few institutional, a few banks, PayPal. And that's why I'm very bullish Bitcoin, because if this volume does manage to get to the highs, the volume currently is sitting here at 270, 259. The amount of volume, like the last month, for the month of March of this year, last month, 268,000 trades of Bitcoin. The peak volume was in 2017 was 2 million shares traded of volume, 2 million. So it's just beginning. This seems to me like it's just beginning. But again, when the RSI is above the dotted lines, dollar cost average, DCA, split your capital that you're going to put into Bitcoin. All my stock guru mastercourse students know this. Dollar cost average, buy at the bottoms of dips each month as you climb Everest. But to me, very bullish. Green, stochastic heading up, squeeze mob heading up, green, stochastic heading up, RSI still overbought though, so you need to DCA, but still heading up, volume coming in, just starting, an all green volume, price shooting up, MA cross still open, heading up, the trend is your friend, and all indications of a buy. Let's zoom in closer. We go 1 year time frame Bitcoin. Now we're looking at what's going to happen going into April, May. And here we had MA cross for Bitcoin before this big movement up from 30,000. A lot of my students caught this. A lot of you made huge gains on this. This was just in January of this year. I made buy videos urgently for Bitcoin on that PayPal news, that PayPal would allow Americans to buy Bitcoin through PayPal. That was here. We had a symmetrical triangle here. The base of the triangle was our target's 50,000. Since then, Bitcoin went from 30,000. This was at the 30,000 mark when I made this video, 31,000. It went from 31,000 all the way to 60,000. Now we're facing some resistance here. Here we had a descending wedge that we had a little bit of a prediction on Bitcoin. The base of the wedge was our targets as it broke out, and it did play out like that. We have a lot of supports. So these red lines are supports. They were previous targets, so we'll clean them up a bit. We don't need so many potential targets. This yellow line is a target now because Bitcoin fell beneath it. These yellow lines are targets as we go up. These red lines are supports as we come down. So on the daily, so now before each of these candles was 1 month. Now they're each day. We have lots of volume coming in for Bitcoin. We have an MA cross indicating we're heading up. That's an MA. Oh no. So this was an MA cross to head up. This was an MA cross to head down. Then this was an MA cross to head up. Yes, we just had an MA cross to head up. The red line went above the green line. Going up, right? Yes. So we have RSI not yet overbought, not yet above the dotted line, so indicating further upward movement. Stochastic, though, was overbought above the dotted lines and turning to head down. Squeeze mob, though, is not. Squeeze mob is red and building pressure. Squeeze mob is red and building pressure. and it's turning green. So squeeze mob is red, building pressure, turning green. Bullish scenario. Stochastic overbought above the dotted line, coming down. Bearish scenario. RSI midway heading up. Bullish scenario. Volume coming in. Bullish scenario. So we have 1 bullish, 2 bullish, 3 bullish, MA cross bullish, 4 bullish. Trend is your friend. 5 bullish. We have 5 indicators that we're going up for Bitcoin. 5 indicators that we're going up for Bitcoin. And we have 1 indicator that we're going down, the stochastic 1. So it's 5 to 1 that we're going up more. Beautiful. So if 5 indicators going up, that kind of gives us our direction. So squeeze more building pressure for big movements. Stochastic coming down, bearish. RSI heading up, bullish. Volume coming in. We have quite a few different patterns on Bitcoin. We had this cup and handle. We need to get rid of some of these targets because there's just too many lines on this chart. We don't need this trend line. We do need these supports. We don't need an MA cross now. We have an MA cross heading up. We know that now. We don't need this blue trend line and targets. We already hit all these. So we get rid of them. We can keep this descending wedge. We don't need this this channel right now. We don't need this upper end of this channel. We're just cleaning up the charts, making it more visible. We don't need so many targets. We can get rid of some of these targets as we come up. Yes. So okay, the charts are a little bit more clear now. We don't need these yellow targets. These targets are still in play, actually, so we do need them. We had a cup and handle here, cup, handle, big explosive movement, and that's where it's going. It's still moving up in that direction. So it's still in play. Squeeze mob building pressure, RSI coming up, volume coming in. Targets are still in play. 57,926, one target. Target 2, 61,000. Target 3, longer term target, 65,000. They are still in play. The overall trend, it's making higher highs, Bitcoin. Higher high here, peak here. Kind of looking like a little bit of a double top. We really need it to make new highs here. We don't want it to have a double top here and then start to come down. If it does come down, all these red tags are the supports along the way where it can bounce off. So it has a lot of supports as it comes down. Support at 56,000, support at 52,000, 50,000, 40,000. We have a lot of supports for Bitcoin if it comes down. I am seeing a cup and handle here. So we had this symmetrical, this descending wedge. Let's get rid of it now because we already know, we already got that target. Beautiful. I am seeing this cup and handle. There is a little bit, it could be an M actually, where it comes down like this. But to me, it looks more like a cup and handle. A weird cup and handle, but still a cup and handle. Cup, handle, explosive movement to the upside with the targets as the base. We are on a trend line. We are on a specific trend line, Bitcoin. It's on a trend line. And that trend line's existed for all year. Oh no, it started in December 2020. We are on a trend line here for Bitcoin. So let's draw that in. Also, we can move this trend line. Let's get rid of, okay, we keep that upper trend line. But this trend line, we have a trend line here that Bitcoin is following. Actually goes back pretty far, this trend line. Why it's a trend line? It's got many touches along the line. Touches. Many touches along the line. So it's following that trend. If we break this trend line here at this 57,000, it's very close, the 56,327, that red tag. If we break that trend line, then it can fall down to these ones, and 40,000 even is possible. We want it to stay above this trend line. But until this trend line, the trend is your best friend. Until the best friend, who's your best friend? It is the trend. Until that trend line breaks, we respect it. We keep assuming Bitcoin keeps traveling up it until it breaks this line and falls underneath it. Then we'd be worried. If it breaks, then these red tags are all in play. 40,000, 52,000, 56,000. But to me, it looks like it's still heading up and it's kind of building pressure here. Everyone see this kind of, there's this upper end of this trend line is existing here also. But let's get rid of that because I see something else that I want to draw in. This blue trend line. So those are the targets as we come up. This resistance here is also a target. Here is 61,000. That's a big resistance. So that will be a target as it comes up. It will face resistance off there. So it can bounce off there. But I am seeing an ascending wedge. I'm going to draw this in with a trend line. Here is where it hits, and that's where it's finding resistance. Everyone see that? And then that is the ascending wedge. So we have a kind of ascending wedge here. Quite a big one, actually. I would say we won't go that far. We'll make it here because there is where it actually touched both the lines. So that's our target for an ascending wedge. And we'll make that yellow if Bitcoin does decide to head up from this descending wedge. Ascending wedge, sorry, not descending, ascending wedge. The target is 71,000 for Bitcoin. 15th of April is when it can blow out. So what happens is when you have these ascending wedges, you have pressure building up, it going within this trend line and with this resistance line. And it builds up pressure. Usually they explode to the upside, to the direction of the trend. And the trend on this trend line is trending up, right? So if it does decide to break up, usually it's breaking out with the indication of the direction of the trend. So building pressure, breaking out to the direction of trend, 72,000. So let's make that one of the upper targets. We don't want to have so many targets. That's the targets for Bitcoin. That's the targets for Bitcoin. 52,000 and 50,000, nearly same supports. If it gets down to 52,000, more than likely that will be 50,000. These are the strong supports as it comes down. We have another strong support here, so we'll move that up. We have 56,000, 50,000, 43,000 as very strong supports. But to me, Bitcoin is still looking bullish with the squeeze more building pressure. Stochastic coming down, yes, but RSI heading up, volume coming in, building pressure, and around the 15th of April, it's hitting target 71,900 for Bitcoin. 71,900 for Bitcoin by the 15th of April is potentially, if it builds up pressure here, and by the 15th of April it breaks underneath here, then the same direction but to the downside is in play, which will make the target 51,000, which lines up with that red support line. But to me, it goes usually with the trend, and the trend is heading up. 51,907 is in play for Bitcoin going into the 15th of April. 52,000, sorry. Beautiful. 52,062. Let's put it exactly. 52,062. It's hard to get it actually on exactly the line because now Bitcoin is worth so much. Beautiful. Big congratulations, everyone. Everyone who bought at 9,000 on this channel, everyone who bought at 30,000 on this channel. And now the next targets seem to be these. Target 1. Let's get rid of this 57,500 because it's very close to there. We're sitting at 50. It's just confusing it. So this is what it looks like Bitcoin is going to be doing. For me, my expectation going to April. Building pressure, bouncing. 15th of April, exploding. Target 1, 61,000. Target 2, 65,000. Target 3, 72,000. Going into the 15th of April. In this ascending wedge, the base of the wedge is the target for our movement. It's actually bigger, but I put the base of the wedge closer here so we get a bit more accuracy, which is beautiful. We also have in the MA cross heading up, open heading up. This is also a bullish sign. So let's zoom in now one more time. We click down here, 3 months, and we're going to zoom into Bitcoin. And we're going to see what's going to happen today for the next few hours, Easter Sunday. Bitcoin is not closed like the stock market because it's the new technology and the stock market's an old technology. So it's beautiful. It's not closed. It's operational because it's all computer networks running everything. The future. And I've been saying from the beginning, everyone, Bitcoin is either going to be $1 million of Bitcoin or zero. That's the only two conditions. It gets hacked, it's worth zero. It doesn't get hacked, it's worth millions of dollars. And we're on that trajectory. So on the hourly, we have stochastic and RSI both below the dotted lines, good buying opportunities, but they're already turning to head down. But above the dotted lines, selling opportunities, too overvalued. Below the dotted lines, undervalued. So on the hourly, it's currently undervalued. Squeeze mob was red, released its pressure to the red side, built a lot of pressure here the last few hours, and then released it just recently, the last 6 hours. Volume spiking. So we have volume coming in, volume predicts price. We have stochastic and RSI oversold, turning down again, but still trying to head up. We have volume, squeeze mob released its red pressure and trying to turn green. We had an MA cross open and heading down. Until that MA cross, a confirmation of a buy will be the MA cross crossing again and heading up. That's what will be indicating a buy. It bounced off this support line. We'll move it up a little bit. So that's a support at 56,500. So Bitcoin, to me, it's got more than likely heading up, but it could come down, bounce off this 56,546, then start heading up. The targets as it heads up, the shorter term targets for today would be this resistance that it hit before, 58,000. And we have another target, which will be sitting at 59,400. So those are the targets as Bitcoin tries to come back up. And we also have this big resistance. So now we've got a lot of targets, but these are the ones that it will face as it comes up in the next few hours, if it does. So what we need to see is the hourly continuation, this RSI keep heading up, this stochastic keep heading up, squeeze mob turn green, and volume to keep coming in. Then 58,000, 58,653, and 59,000 are in play. But if these stochastic and RSI keep trying to edge down, which they're looking like they're doing, and this MA cross doesn't cross and keeps opening, and squeeze mob goes red again and volume keeps dropping off, then the next it's falling down again, 57,000, 56,500, And then if that doesn't hold, the next one will be this blue trend line, which will be sitting around there for 53,000. So it looks like to me it's going to do something like this. Bitcoin bounce back down, hit 56,546, turn and head up, and squeeze mob go green and volume come in, and then bounce to go up. That's what it looks like doing. So target 1 I would say is 56,500, then target 2 58,000, 58,600, 59,000 as it bounces and heads up. If it doesn't hold on this 56,500 when it comes down, target 1, if that doesn't hold, the next big support is, it's also got a support here, 54,872, which will also find support. So if it does this, and it hits this 56,500 and breaks, 54,800 is the next major support. But to me, more than likely, hitting 56,000 and heading up, that's target 1, and then target 2, 58,000, target 3, 58,658. That's one scenario. If we see this stochastic RSI fall, you're watching this closely to see if they fall and then bounce and head up and volume come in. If not, if they start keeping edging up and RSI edges up and volume comes in here and squeeze mob goes green, which is less likely. I think the most likely scenario is this one, target 1, and then moving up because of Easter holiday. If not, then we move up. If these go just head up, and squeeze mob goes green, and this volume comes in, then target 1, 58,000, 58,600, 59,000. But to me, it looks like we're getting a little bit of a drop here. But I'm very bullish Bitcoin because of this news about Visa and PayPal, everyone. I'm very bullish of this news, then bouncing and heading up. So I would not try to catch this movement down. I would just dollar cost average into Bitcoin as it continues to climb overall trend. Am I seeing any big... There is a giant symmetrical triangle that's forming here. Everyone see that? And that breaks out by... we can't see it on the hourly. That breaks out around May the 9th. And that movement is huge if that does play out. I just saw it now. Let's draw that target in. That movement is huge if it plays out. So we've got a symmetrical ascending wedge kind of forming here by May 9th.